A spot in the state tournament is on the line tonight as CCX presents the Section 5 3A Volleyball Championship for 2018. It's the number 2 seed, the Wayzata Trojans, taking on the number 1 seed, the Champlain Park Rebels. Hello and welcome to Osseo High School. John Jacobson along with Minnetonka head coach Carl Katzenberger. And Carl, this is the third time in 4 seasons Champlain Park and Wayzata have met in this section final. Rebels won both in 2015 and 2016, and they are certainly the favorite again here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, 2 established programs that are deep, and they got great athletes and they got great coaches. Should be a lot of fun tonight. This is one of the most magic nights in high school sports, where there's going to be a pile of kids on the court from either team, depending on who wins. And, you know, just that eruption of joy and what it means to them is going to be something really cool to see.
The Rebels with a sweep of Rogers in the semifinals. Wayzata really had to grind it out against Osseo. Won the first 2 sets against the Orioles, but then Osseo won the next 2. Last set goes down to 16-14, Wayzata prevailing. Exciting for them to get to this point, I think, after the year that the Trojans had last year, and certainly thrilled to be in this championship match.
Well, yeah, you want to talk about the journey. You know, they have a young roster as it is, and last year they're even more young, quite honestly, and for them to do the work they did from year to year is nothing short of astounding. Scott has done a fantastic job, and those kids have all bought in to what they're trying to do at Wayzata, and the results speak for themselves, quite honestly. They have 5 losses on the season, and then the ability to take down a very good Osseo team in the section semi. Should be a fun match tonight.
Let's look at a couple of players to watch, starting with Wayzata. Elizabeth Helmick, and you got to coach against her a couple of times this season. What challenges does she present? What does she do well on the court?
Well, when you draw up a prototypical high school right side, you would look for a long athlete who can jump well, preferably left-handed, and does a really good job with the opportunities presented her. And Helmick checks all those boxes. She's threatening in system, out of system. It doesn't matter. And quite honestly, her biggest threat to another team is simply just out-jumping your other outside, and there's nothing you can do about it at a certain point. So.
Now, the player she'll be playing against often on the other side of that, maybe a player she wouldn't be able to out-jump, Lauren Clark, who can really get up and is an outstanding player, leads this Rebels team in kills, headed to Penn State next year.
Yeah, and I would say for Lauren, certainly it'd be a tall order out-jumper. The growth for Lauren from year to year to year has been amazing, because early in her career she had 2 shots, and this is a coach's joke, but the 2 shots were harder and harder. And as she's progressed and learned how to play a little finesse and learn when it's time to be aggressive and when it's time to be not, she's become a complete volleyball player. And Penn State is getting a great athlete and a great person, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see how she develops going forward to the next level.
Look, the Trojans are underdogs, and you may know that. Champlain Park's only lost 5 sets all season. So what does Wayzata have to do tonight? What's their formula?
Well, I think if you're a Champlain Park fan, you have a lot of reasons to be confident. And if you're a Wayzata Trojans fan, you have a lot of reasons to be optimistic, quite honestly. They have athletes at every level. Sophie Jesowitz is certainly as athletic, if not as experienced as the 2 kids playing outside for Champlain Park, and she's scary. Kate Long is the other outside for Wayzata that doesn't get a lot of notoriety necessarily on the state elite level. Both those kids are young, and what they're doing at their ages is quite astounding. So Champlain Park, on paper favorite, very likely, but Wayzata is going to show up, and they're going to make it as difficult on them as possible tonight.
Wayzata 25-5, Champlain Park 28-2. The winner plays in the state class 3A quarterfinals a week from today at XL Energy Center in St. Paul. We'll come back. Set 1 is up first. Champlain Park Wayzata volleyball next on CCX.
Local Vote 2018 focuses on the candidates that make key decisions close to home. As you decide how to vote for people who will represent you on your city council, on your school board, and in the state legislature, hear from the candidates themselves first. Whether it's a candidate statement on CCX News, local political forum, or election night coverage, you can find it all on CCX Media and ccxmedia.org.
We are set for volleyball tonight at Osseo High School. The top 2 seeds in Section 5 head-to-head here with a spot in the state Class 3A tournament on the line. Champlain Park ranked number 3 in the state. They've been ranked number 1 a good share of this season. Wayzata's creeping into the rankings. You look at their starters for tonight's matchup. Very tall team, Carl, and that's one thing that Champlain Park will have to deal with is Izzy Ashburn gets us started with an ace serve for the Rebels.
It's a great serve, and that'll give the Champlain Park kids a little confidence. Wayzata is going to look for some aces and blocks tonight of their own. I feel like that's a key part of their strategy. They want to score some points where they don't have to get into multi-position rallies with Champlain Park.
This one returned. And we get Johnson into the net for Wayzata.
That's an athletic play by Johnson there. Ball's just a touch tight.
So 2-0 Champlain Park. Ashburn serve dug up by Rubald and out of play. So Wayzata unable to even get the ball across yet, and they're down 3-0. This is exactly what you don't want to have happen against Champlain Park. It's still early, obviously, but the Rebels off to a very good start here in the first set. Now they get it to Helmick. Dug up by Weimer Skirch. Ashburn outside, Lauren Clark.
Yeah, Wayzata would have liked that a little quicker start and build some confidence. You're right, Champlain Park just comes downhill at you, and you know, small point here and there, and all of a sudden you look at a deficit, and that's a big blow to your confidence if you're a Wayzata Trojans fan.
Inside right, Jesuits gets the attack, and then right down the line, Emma Schmidt with the kill for Champlain Park.
It's a difficult rotation for Wayzata as they have Helmlich on the left side, and she's a lefty, and they have Jesuits on the right side, and it's hard for them to get that ball all the way to their hitting shoulder. Once the ball's live, they'll return their natural hitting positions.
Ashburn with the serve into the net, but she got her team out to a 5-0 lead before that service error.
So here comes Long to play left in the front row, and Jesuits will serve, and then Helmlich will just move to the right front and assume her natural left-handed, kind of dominant position there.
Jesuits serves. Ashburn back set to Clark, handled back row by Johnson, and the Champlain Park point.
There's a lot to be said for being in these big games before, and you can see the comfort level clearly on the Champlain Park side, and Wayzata's trying to find themselves a little bit right now.
6-1 as Clark gets set to serve. Back row handled by Jesuits. Johnson back set. Helmick down. Nice dig up. Attack from Prasky is long. Oh no, touched by Wayzata.
Well, I think that burned the corner there, and if Champlain Park is going to be that precise with the ball, it's going to be a long night for Wayzata.
I think you're right, Carl. I thought it was a tip. It just happened to land inbound.
Yeah, you'll see a reverse to here to Clark.
This is how they got here. These are highlights from the semifinal matches on Tuesday. Champlain Park defeating Rogers in 3 sets. Really never tested the third set a little bit closer. Rogers some good talent, but young talent, and not in position where they could defeat the Rebels on this night, and a night that, for the most part, Champlain Park played pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, Rogers is a lot of positive looking forward for them, and Champlain Park, like I said, is they can just affect you in so many ways with their physicality and just the speed of the game, and that's a lot to handle at the high school level, quite honestly.
Second semifinal featured Wayzata and Osseo, and this was a great one, and the Trojans really looked comfortable early, win both of the first 2 sets 25-20, and then Osseo started to get some momentum, some things figured out. They come back and win the next 2 sets, and this one ends up going 5, with Wayzata winning to advance here to tonight. So out of the timeout, Champlain Park up early, leading 7-1 here in the first set. Block, Schmidt. It's a good block. They go left side and across and over, and the kill.
This is the one rotation where Champlain Park is not as physical as the others. As they have the setter in the back row still, and then Clark is off.
Served by Izzy Anderson, the libero. Here's Schmidt, and then you get on top of that ball, a hitting error and a point for Wayzata, and it's 7-3.
This timing issue there. Schmidt's a great athlete, and he just, quite honestly, just didn't time it right.
serve into the net gives Wayzata an serving error for the first time tonight. Nicole Thompson rotates in and she'll serve here. And it's 8-3. Thompson serve, and it'll be an ace, goes off of Long and out.
Yeah, Kate Long is a great serve-receive player, and I do think this may be just a case of not comfortable in the situation right now.
Thompson back deep again, handled by Anderson. Long can't keep it in play.
Yeah, Wayzata's got to kind of get control of themselves before they can be expected to get control of the volleyball match, and it's going to happen. I just hope it doesn't take much longer.
Thompson, a good line drive serve, handled flawlessly that time by Anderson. Punched over by Emlog, kept alive by Champlin Park.
Boy, I thought that ball was down.
And this one is, and it's a point for Wayzata. And a kill for Lily Emlog.
They are really probing the middle of the Champlin Park defense right now, and I think that's smart, is loosen them up a little bit. Let's see if we can find a way to get some easy points.
Elmick serving. Ashburn to Hilly. Sammy Hilly with her first kill.
Can't say enough about Ashburn and her ability to deliver the ball on time and in the right window for the hitters. There's an example of a less than perfect pass turned into a great opportunity for Hilly.
11-4 Rebels. Schmidt line drive handled by Anderson. Johnson across for Long. Up in the air by Weimer-Skirch on the dig. Over by Stalpus. Back set. Cross-court hit by Emlog is handled. The Haley again in the middle. And back-to-back kills for the junior.
It's a good multi-position rally for Champlin Park. Second time out for Wayzata, and hopefully Scott Jackson can get his team calm so they can start playing their best volleyball. A lot of pressure from Champlin Park, and I defy any team to feel comfortable when you have that amount of talent, and they do some things that other teams simply can't do because they have the talent at the outsides and the setters. And most teams try to establish the middle. Like when we come back outside, Wayzata wants to go to the middle. They want to set Emlong behind, and that'll open things up for Long on the outside. Champlin Park plays things absolutely differently. They want to establish the outside, so that will give opportunities to the middle hitter. It's kind of a contrast in styles, and we'll see. I fortunately for Champlin Park is it really doesn't matter who's in the front row. They just have a dynamite setter, and they have dynamite athletes all the way through the lineup, be able to be threatening offensively in any rotation.
And for Wayzata, they've got to be on their A game, which so far they haven't been. A lot of volleyball yet to be played, but they got to be on top of their game.
Yeah, this game is about let's get our bearings, let's get comfortable, let's start communicating well with one another. I like this body language from Wayzata, as there are high fives all around, and there's direct communication. Hopefully they get this ship righted here.
8-point lead for the Rebels as Schmidt to serve out of the timeout. And it's down for an ace.
Yeah,
there are a couple balls, hit by the last server that were going perhaps deep. This time they decided to let it go, and it drops.
Made the remark earlier, if Champlin Park is going to be this precise with where they put the volleyball, it's going to be a tall order.
Thompson had served some very deep that the Trojans played, and Schmidt on the line drive. Good play by Jesuits.
There's Emlong on the slide again, and that's kind of their bread and butter in this rotation, setting Emlong to open up opportunities. Now Jesuits will come to the front row, and it's a classic offensive set as you make the middle blocker for Champlin Park make a decision. Are you going to go all the way to the back pin with the middle, or are you going to stay all the way to the outside pin with Jesuits?
Julia Roble, senior and one of the captains for Wayzata, rotates in, serving here. Outside Stalpus cuts it across for a point.
Stalpus is crafty. Like, she understands that you don't have to hit as hard as you possibly can to win the point. You just have to score and find an open place on the court right there with a great approach. That's what sells it. And then she's hitting that cut shot to the open floor.
Weimer-Skirch has got it over, handled by Jesuits. They go back to her. Good dig up by Weimer-Skirch. Ashburn got it across. Ashburn sets up for Clark, trying to push it over, gets it back. The Jesuits trying to tip it over. Good rally here. No one gets that ball after Clark had played it. And it's a point for Wayzata.
Yeah, I think the middle of the court and short tip could be a good way for Wayzata to get comfortable on offense. The key to that, middle school and younger high school volleyball players, for the tip to be effective, you have to take your best approach and make it look like you're going to go up and attack aggressively.
Serve long by Emilong, and it's over to Champlin Park.
Moving forward in this match is Wayzata's really got to limit, shooting themselves in the foot. Quite honestly, it's hard to stay in front of your own errors and the other team at the same time.
Stelpa serves. Johnson will go back to Jesuits. Nice play on the back row for the Gill.
That time was really effective, and you see the action slide behind, outside on a go, and then the middle block for Champlin has to make a difficult decision. And it's just really hard to defend that action properly.
Johnson serving. Ashburn to Clark. It's long.
Yeah, the ball's out. Same action run by Champlin Park. Slide behind, and then they force the Wayzata blocking package to make a good decision and force Clark into a hitting error, perhaps.
Ashburn will go to Clark again. Cuts it this time for a point.
That's borderline unfair that she's that athletic and can look at the court for that long before committing to where she's going to hit the ball.
Ashburn serving, 8-point Rebels lead. Johnson's got a race to this one. Knocked over in the middle. Weimer Skirch. Set it. Schmidt. Great dig up on the ball by Anderson. Then across by Helmick. Back comes Champlin Park. Schmidt, another good dig, but not able to get it up to a teammate was Johnson. Not under the ball, but couldn't get the pass up. It's a point for Champlin Park.
I really like Emma Schmidt. I think she's a great athlete, and I think she's unsung on this Champlin Park team.
Helmick across. Stelpa's had a run after that one. Back across they go. Great dig by Weimer Skirch. Goes to Clark, tips it over this time. Anderson keeps it alive and pushed across by Johnson. Kresge from the middle with the kill.
And we're back in this unnatural rotation for Wayzata where Helmick, the lefty, is on the left side, and then Jesuits, the righty, is on the right side, and it makes it really difficult to side out immediately.
Now 18-8. Remember, Ashburn served the first 5 points of this set. Johnson back, hit long by Jesuits.
And that set is perfect for Helmick as a lefty if she's back on that pin, and it's just hard for a setter to keep track of multiple set locations on the same side of the net for multiple hitters.
Johnson across, good swing on that ball and kill for Helmick.
That set was great because it was all the way out to the left hand of Helmick, and it's really awkward. Imagine you being left-handed and somebody putting a ball on your right shoulder and then being asked to hit that ball aggressively. That set was delivering a perfect spot.
Kate Long back in for the Trojans as Jesuit serves. Schmidt, and a kill for the senior.
That's what I mean. They establish Clark, which opens opportunities for other. Clark gets all this attention on the right side, and now you're one-on-one, and it's an impossible situation. It's a really hard action to defend. Champlin Park establishing Clark on the outside, and that's going to open up, holes for others.
Clark back to serve. Johnson's got to make a run after this one. Long. Great ball, but Clark digs it up. Knocked across on the free ball by Emke. Tip back roll. Nice job by Jesuits to get a hand on it, and then pounded home from the left side and a kill for Wayzata.
Yeah, Jesuits' length there on the back line allowed her to make that dig. Just long athlete, long arms, makes a great stab. We get a quick set to the outside, and then Kate Long, kind of her patented zone 5 cross-court shot. Yeah, really, really well done by the Trojans.
Anderson serving. Ashburn, quick set to Hilly. Nice jig by Jesuits. Back set here, down the line and out.
Great counterattack opportunity. Jesuits with another dig, and then they try to go quick to Helmick on the back line.
A discussion here where the Trojans felt that ball was in or chipped.
Yeah, I think they're discussing whether the block touched the ball, and I didn't see a touch. It is so bang, though, at that point.
Thompson's back in. She serves here for the Rebels. Ashburn quick to the middle. Hilly missed it, and it's a point for Wayzata.
Yeah, I mean, they ran the play there correctly. Hilly was coming free on the middle. She has no resistance on that cutback. Unfortunately, she missed it by about a ball.
Helmick serves it up. Weimerskirch up to Ashburn. Stelpas across, dug up by Anderson. Offside long again. Nice dig again by Weimerskirch, getting to the floor, and Schmidt finishes it off.
That's either really good scouting or just really good athleticism by Weimerskirch, because Long loves to use zone 5, hitting over the block into the deep part. Zone 5 is the area by the line judge on the Champlin Park side, and that's kind of her go-to shot.
So the Rebels immediately get the side out. 11-point lead. Long missed. And it's 23-11.
Hopefully in the break between 2 and 1, we can get the Trojans calmed down so we can have a competitive volleyball match here tonight. We'll talk about it between games. I don't have a rooting interest just because both coaches are such good friends. But I would like to see a competitive game 2, 3, 4, 5 even if we're so fortunate.
Stelpas. Ooh. And it's set point.
Boy, that's a tough call from here. It looked like that ball might have sailed past the end line. Line judge is all over it, though, and they probably have the best view. Let's take a peek at it here. Nope, right on the line. Well done by the line judge.
Schmidt serving at 24-11, and it's 24-12.
Side up for Wayzata.
So we get Jesuits back to the left front for the Trojans, and this is where they try to run the slide behind and then free Jesuits up on the outside. It's a big part of their offense.
Robley serving. Ashburn to Stelpas, tips it over, and there's set one. And Champlin Park wins it 25-12. And Carl, they go up 1-0.
Yeah, both teams definitely showed off the talent they have. The biggest difference is Champlin Park was just so much more consistent. This is an easy play for Helmick. She makes this 99 times out of 100, and to me, it's just being out of your comfort zone right now. Champlin Park was able to kind of bring it at their level for a big portion of that game, and Wayzata, whether it's section final nerves, whether it's they're tired from that 5-setter from Osseo the other night, quite frankly, whether it's they didn't have what they wanted to have at school lunch today. It could be any number of combination of things, but it's really important right now is that they kind of get their comfort zone back, and then they display what got them here to that section final. They have a quality about them and a talent about them that's undeniable, but you have to put those two things together. Otherwise, the talent is kind of lost.
Well, we'll hope to reset here in set 2. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More volleyball. Section 5, 3A, live on CCX from Osseo High School.
Local Vote 2018 focuses on the candidates that make key decisions close to home. As you decide how to vote for people who will represent you on your city council, on your school board, and in the state legislature, hear from the candidates themselves first. Whether it's a candidate statement on CCX News, local political forum, or election night coverage, you can find it all on CCX Media and ccxmedia.org.
Here she comes. I, Krista, take you, Jamie, to be my wife.
When we found out that we were pregnant, we were just elated. We were just sitting there waiting for the pediatrician. She said she won't be taking you in as a client.
We are a lesbian couple, but she's just a baby. She's the one you're denying the service to.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. And I kept taking them whenever I could get them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Leah, did you put a new dent in that?
This one? No.
Were you texting and driving again?
Yes.
Hi, Leah.
Hi, Dad.
Sorry about your bumper.
John Jacobson with Minnetonka head volleyball coach Carl Katzenberger. We're at Osseo High School, ready for the second set in the Section 5 3A volleyball championship. And look at the section bracket. The Rebels with a sweep of Park Center in last week's quarterfinals, then beat Rogers in the semis in 3. Wayzata took out Buffalo in their quarterfinal round match. And then that 5-setter that we talked about earlier against Osseo Tuesday night over at Champlin Park to get to tonight's play. Last year it was St. Michael Albertville in the final. They were upset this year, a mild upset, although they had beaten Rogers twice this season. And the Knights this time not able to get out of the quarterfinal round.
All right, here we go with game 2. Let's see if Scott and his staff were able to get the Wayzata Trojans calmed down a little bit, and see if John Junker and his staff were able to look at any adjustments to be possibly made.
Johnson serving the first one. Ashburn will back set Clark. Then gets the Rebels out to a 1-0 lead.
That's a situation where you have to commit 2 blockers to Clark. I know that's scary, but that's the tendency for Champlin Park, is to set Clark. And if you leave any kind of gap between that block, that is going to be bad news.
A little delay in getting the ball. And finally a last second switch for the Rebels in the lineup. Now we're all set. Ashburn to serve. It's an outside left. Helmick dug up by Stalpus. Ashburn back to Schmidt. He gets blocked.
There's that size for Wayzata. The middle and the outside, both over 6'2", and both with long arms. That presents a problem for a lot of teams.
Jesuits and Emke on that left side. Wayzata tied at 1. Good serve and it's an ace for Jesuits.
Great serve by Jesuits, and that's what Wayzata needs. They need a couple easy points to kind of get rolling here and gain some confidence.
They get their first lead tonight. Holds it again. Stelpus picks this one up. Schmidt down the line. They're tied up.
Yeah, Schmidt does a great job of just taking what the defense is giving her. We get that swing block going to the outside, and the line is open. Oh, looks like she went seam there. Either way, just finding an area to attack is, going to be more effective than shutting your eyes and just trying to go pure power.
Clark serves. Nice play on ball on Anderson, over by Long. Ashburn to Hilly.
That's a hard play to call as an up official. The setter is back row for Wayzata, and the ball goes tight to the net. And is it a back row attack? Is it the Champlin Park block over the net? And basically, the referee just said let him play on that one.
Clark serves, handled by Jesuits. Over by Helmick. Good dig by Stalpus. Here's Schmidt. Anderson digs that ball. Another good dig by Stelpus, who's playing some really good defense so far in tonight's match.
Yeah, 2 really well-coached teams, and you can tell why. Is their positioning and their posture when the other team is hitting is very good, and it's repeatable, okay? So if you can get kids in the right position over and over and over and over again, then one player knows where the other's responsibilities is, and it just makes it easier to defend the entire court.
Rebels up 4-3. Here's Long, and she ties it up.
You talk about responsibilities. That's a tough shot. Kate Long going to zone 5, and that's kind of her bread and butter, and it's a difficult area for any team to defend because is it the middle backs? Is it the left backs? And the rule of thumb is we don't care who gets it. Somebody on the team does have to make an effort for the ball there.
Anderson serves. Ashburn, quick set. Hilly gets blocked. Stalpus digs it up. Ashburn. Weimer skirts her floated over. Jesuits up in the air, hit across by Helmick. Schmidt floats it across and over for a point.
So again, younger volleyball players or players that are looking to get established in your varsity program. Champlin Park's out of system on that first ball possession they had, and the libero was forced to attack the third ball. She decided to send the ball into the right back and make the Wayzata setter play the first ball, kind of rendered them out of system.
Helmick, a great dig on that ball by Thompson. Ashburn rushed to it, and Weimerskirch got it. Johnson, that blocked in the middle. They go to attack again. Another block by the Rebels, and a point for Champlin Park. Well, that one hit tape on the second try.
That's a tough set to reverse that ball across the court. Johnson can make that set. She's a really good player. It's really hard when your momentum is carrying you one direction. You try to fire the ball back the other way.
Deep serve. Jesuits handles it. Anderson up in the air. Attacked by Long. Ashburn to Hilly. Point Champlin Park.
I think Champlin Park might be picking up on the tendency for Long to use zone 5. The block looks like it shifted, and it really looks like the left back and middle back are kind of ganging up on that area.
That's off of Long. It goes as an ace for Thompson and Champlin Park, and a timeout for Wayzata.
So we alluded to, do we have any allegiance or preferential winner tonight? And I will say this, both these guys are good friends. We go back nearly 20 years. In addition to that layer, both teams have an assistant coach that I coached at some point during their high school volleyball career too. So I'm aging myself a little bit, but I would say, what my statement from earlier still stands. I want to see a really good competitive match at this opportunity here. Scott's in his 20th season. That's a graphical error there. And then John Younker's in his 8th season here at Champlin Park. John has done a lot of high school, both head and assistant coaching before he ended up here. But you can look at his resume there. 14, 15, 16, 17, state tournament representative in his section. And Champlin Park has done a great job. Sure, have they had a lot of good athletes? Absolutely, but you can't fault Champlin Park for that. John has done a tremendous job of, sometimes it's more challenging to get a lot of elite athletes to share the ball and a lot of elite athletes to play team first. And I think the culture there is really sound because they seem to genuinely like being on the court with one another.
So we believe the score to be 8-4, although in the gym here it says 8-3. So until that's corrected, I guess we'll have to go with that. Stelpus down the line, cracks down a kill.
This is an area of growth for Jesuits, and she's a fantastic volleyball player, given she's in 10th grade. But the ability just to push with her length and athleticism, she can be a knockout defensive player with her best effort.
Thompson, a good runner serving here for Champlin Park, and Wayzata ends that on the right side kill by Helmick.
We got fed a steady diet of that lefty attack from the right side this year during late conference play, and Helmick is one of the elite hitters in one of the elite conferences. She had a fantastic season for the Trojans.
17 kills versus Osseo in the semifinals Tuesday. Now serves here. It goes to Stelpus from Ashburn. Off of Long and out.
That's an awkward ball. Long is in the correct spot, and she's on it. It just happens they hit the block at just the right angle to throw the timing off the play. You just can't beat luck sometimes, quite honestly.
Schmidt line drive serve off the Jesuits.
This is a concept that we talk about at the varsity level all the time, is you have to engage the other team in a rally. You have to give them a chance to win. One-touch errors on serve receive are almost certainly a death knell.
This one Long.
If you think about it, this is oversimplification, but if you are on serve receive and you have 5 of the best teammates in the whole world, but you can't get them the ball, it renders the fact that you have fantastic teammates moot. You have to be able to get that first ball in play.
11-5, Robley serving. Ashburn runs that down. Stelpus, it's blocked back and down. Nice job by the Trojans to get up for the block and get the point.
Fantastic block. That might have been Olivia Johnson coming late on the swing block there. And that's a coach's best friend. Champlin Park is doing what they're taught to do, is go rush to cover, and Wayzata just had basically a perfect rebound off the block, landed harmlessly in the deep right corner.
Robley serves. Schmidt and Panzer collide there. Battle at the net. Jesuits gets it up in the air. Johnson back set across, but in the net on the attack by Emlong at a point for Champlin Park.
I thought Ashburn may have been in the net there on the joust attempt. It's a really hard play to call, too, because the ball is causing all sorts of vibration with the net tape. And Champlin Park able to get a key side out there.
Left side across and out on the swing by Jesuits.
This is where Jesuits going to be scary. She's essentially out jumping the block attempt there, and that shot to deep zone 5, she missed it by maybe a ball. And if she could do that consistently, it's just a hard shot to defend when you can't affect it with the block and you're relying solely on defenders to pick the ball up.
You know, in some ways, this feels a little closer than the first set. You look up at the scoreboard, it's 13-6, though.
Yeah, Wayzata's done a better job of engaging Champlin Park in rallies. There was a whole lot of one touch and done in the first game, unfortunately, for Wayzata. And it looks like they've addressed some of that. I would like to see them do a little better job on deep serve receive. Champlin Park is obviously trying to push them deep in the service game, and Wayzata they're not doing a very good job of shuffling their feet and centering the ball, and it's leading to a lot of awkward stabs at the volleyball with two hands, or a lot of taking the ball up on your bicep or the high area of your platform. If they could get that righted, you know, quite honestly, Champlin Park doesn't have a whole lot more serve receive attempts. They have done a better job, though, of controlling that first ball, and I think when you boil it down to its simple essence, volleyball is about serve and pass. Can you get into your offense? Can you keep the other team out of their offense by serving tough?
A 7-point lead as Weimer-Skirts serves. Anderson to Johnson. Jesuits tips it over this time for a point.
And I would say that, again, for younger players out there, what gave Jesuits that tip shot is a really strong approach, and that sells the line defender on, okay, I got to be buckled up for the bomb, and then Jesuits hits the open area with a soft tip.
Emlong serves. Ashburn goes outside to Clark. Point Champlin Park.
Set was perhaps a touch low, and Clark is joking with her setter right now. All I could do is just engage that arm swing and try to hit it as quick as I could. When you jump as high as Clark, though, your window is so large, and you know, you can get a kill on just about any ball.
Nice serve, good dig by Anderson, and then Jesuits able to get this kill as she got it down the line.
Awkward set by Johnson. I don't fault her. The ball was basically shot at her chin, and she did a really good job of setting the ball legally in a hittable area to the outside there.
And now the junior Johnson serving. Good serve. Stelpus digs it up. Ashburn back to Prasky. Blocked by Jesuits. Point Wayzata.
We call that the phone booth, John, is when you hit a ball. You can imagine inside of a phone booth. I don't know if kids know what a phone booth even is today. Right. But if you hit a ball in a phone booth, it's going nowhere besides straight down.
Ashburn long set across for Clark. Dug up back row. Johnson setting. Helmick with the kill. And it's 14-10.
And that's when Wayzata is at their best. They get a great in-system counter dig, and then Helmick does all the hard work to transition. Middle does all the hard work to transition. Number 12 for Champlin Park has to honor the middle, which leaves Helmick one-on-one with Lauren Clark out there, and Helmick's going to win that almost all the time.
4-1 run for Wayzata, but they give it back in the service there.
Well, that's a killer sometimes as a fan and as a parent. His team is getting a little momentum, and then all of a sudden just a long serve deep gives Champlin Park the ball back with little to no effort.
And gives it back to Izzy Ashburn, who's been terrific all season, really serving. In the middle, block. Trojans handle that, though, and they'll get the side out themselves.
It is
Helmick, another kill.
Extreme disadvantage for a lefty to be hitting on the outside or the left side of the net there, and Helmick is so athletic that it looks like it doesn't even bother her, quite honestly. Really impressive.
Jesuits serving. Ashburn to Schmidt through the block that time and down.
The good thing about swing blocking is you can generate a lot of lift and you can come late and still be effective. Unfortunately, when your hands don't get turned back to the middle of the court and you're late in that swing blocking progression, that's what happens. The ball finds the block and then finds the floor.
Johnson back set, Helmick, another kill.
Yeah, what a set, first of all. I mean, the whole play is flowing left, and then we get a reversal from Johnson. We talked earlier, Johnson can make that play, coming forward and then shooting the ball back to the outside, and then Helmick sees a hole and knows what to do with it.
Here's Anderson's serve. Ashburn to Hilly. Point Champlin Park.
That's a tough one, that action to defend there. And Kate Long is a little bit mad at herself maybe because she missed the blocking assignment. She didn't go up with the middle. But there's so much going on that Champlin Park side of the net, especially when the setter's in the back row and they have 3 hitters available. It's a tough way to analyze what's happening and trying to be athletic enough to get there.
Thompson serve to Jesuits. Johnson over on the attack from M-Log. They go to Schmidt and she misses.
Once again, Wayzata positioned correctly. They got the double block there, which gives the line shot. Libero is on the edge, and she can make an informed decision. She doesn't have to guess if the ball's in or out.
Ashburn back to Schmidt. Gets blocked up in the air. Another point for the Trojans. Great job by Long there on the left side.
That time, Kate Long did not miss her blocking assignment, and she did a great job of getting those hands across. And again, it's like the phone booth, you know, like if you have 4 hands across right there, it's almost going to be impossible to be successful.
Nice float serve by Helmick, but handled by Weimer-Skirch. Here's Stelpus up in the air off the block. Johnson left side for Long, off Panzer.
Maybe a little adjustment by Long and the Trojans there. Long had almost hit exclusively to the cross court. This time she sees the middle back defender shading that way, tries to cut it back to zone 1, and the middle back defender committing a little too far, can't make it back for that line shot from Long.
Oh, I'd set up within 2 at 17-15 now as you look at it again.
This is what I've been hoping for here is Wayzata showing off a little bit of this talent that they have. Long clearly trying to cut that ball back over to zone 1. Maybe have seen something in the way the Champlin Park Rebels are positioning themselves in the middle and the left back. They have a quality to them that at their best they can rival Champlin Park. The hard part, though, is Champlin Park has shown just such consistency throughout, you know, the section tournament and tonight. Wayzata is really going to have to rely on a lot of spurts to close this gap and you know, maybe steal game 2 here.
You saw that time John Yunker was kind of standing outside the huddle. As a head coach, how much do you sometimes let your assistants lead what the discussion's going to be in a timeout?
Yeah, sometimes if it's a technical issue, you might want to address that yourself. But if it's a communication issue, or if it's a harmony issue, or if it's a hey, your position here, you're not talking to their kid, sometimes the assistant voice can be as or more beneficial than the head coach's voice.
Helmick serving. Ball to the middle to Hilly. What is that? Another block. They've got that size along the front row. They're taking advantage of it.
Yeah, M-Long is just such a rock up there. And look at the Wayzata lineup right now. Jesuits is in the back row at 6'3" or 6'4". Kate Long looks like the small player standing next to M-Long there. And Kate is all of 6 feet. I mean, they just do a fantastic job when they get that block aligned.
Wayzata's on a 10-4 run. Stelpus, though, gets a big point for Champlin Park. Avoids this one being tied up, and it's 18-16 instead for the Rebels.
We were talking to Scott pregame. He said aces and blocks, aces and blocks. It's a steal a line from our friend George Pageant at Concordia St. Paul University. Aces and blocks. And, you know, that certainly Wayzata's getting a ton of blocks in this game.
Schmidt, good serve. Johnson gets it up for Long. Off of Schmidt now.
It's tough. Kate Long showed the line shot, and then there, I think that Champlin Park and Emma Schmidt might have been really cognizant of that, and then Long went right back to that high zone 5 shot. So, you know, maybe she's getting a call from her teammate. That's what I would suspect, is the libero playing left back behind her is giving her a good, strong call and leading to a lot of success.
Ashburn across for Stelpus. Off the line that time. It's back to a 2-point lead for the Rebels.
Yeah, that's the geometry of volleyball, is if you're faced with the decision of hitting the ball down the line or cross court, obviously the digger is closer to you going down the line. There's just less linear feet, so thus harder to dig the ball with less reaction time, and good choice by Champlin there.
Weimerskirch serves. Johnson back to Jesuits. Ashburn to Clark. Off blockers and out. Point Champlin Park.
Kind of an awkward dig, but it actually worked to Champlin's favor there because the ball got to the setter so quickly, Wayzata was not able to set the block properly.
Weimerskirch floating it over to Anderson. Johnson setting up Jesuits. Weimerskirch across. Hit a banner up above, which is out of play.
Yeah, Champlin Park might have want that one back. Weimerskirch played a ball that she probably felt was out if she could replay it. And, you know, aggressive shots by Wayzata. They're forcing some tough decisions on defense for Champlin.
Ashburn to Clark off the blockers. Quite a great effort by Amwell. She can't get to it.
Now, Lauren Clark is the great run stopper. If you need a side out and you're able to get that ball in her hitting window, it's awful tempting for the setter to not go to Clark over and over and over again in crunch time here. I see a lot of Lauren Clark going to happen here in the final few points.
Stelpus, good aggressive serve. Johnson going back to Jesuits off Stelpus, and now point Wayzata 21-19.
Imagine that ball coming from about 9 feet of contact point above the net, and you're the line digger, and you have about half a second to decide: 1, is it in? 2, should I play it? 3, how can I not use my face to play it? You know, all those things need to register within a half of a second.
Ashburn's got to track this ball down to the Schmidt. Can't attack from the back row, and it's 21-20.
I'd like to see Wayzata go after the service receive player in zone 1, see if they can get Stalpus to maybe give up a shaky service receive play here.
Ashburn to Clark. Anderson to the front row. Johnson, tough set, gets blocked back. Wayzata scrambling it over by Jesuits. Ashburn back to Prasky. Over as Johnson handled that. Helmick off of her, and a point for the Rebels.
Wayzata is one of the few teams in the state that employ the out-of-system setter is your middle front player. Most teams choose to use libero or a ball handler. Wayzata just has the middle front take the ball. A little unorthodox, but it's successful.
Johnson back to Jesuits. Weimerskirch to Ashburn. Outside Clark. Nice dig by Anderson. Jesuits left side for the kill.
Jesuits again with that reach is doing a great job of clipping the weak part of the block, which is your fingers extended, and then using the line shot there to give, you know, obviously the least amount of reaction time. Really good play. See if they go after number 13 for Champlin Park again.
Stelpus got it. Ashburn cross to Schmidt. Wayzata gets back to within 1, but they haven't been able to tie it yet.
Yeah, Stelpus was up to the challenge there. I feel like she wanted that ball. She understood what was happening as Wayzata was going to try to put it on her. She made a really, really good play.
Clark serving 23-21. Johnson back set. Point Wayzata.
That's just called being a good athlete by Helmick. I mean, it's so frustrating because you think you ever bottle up, and then she finds a way to score there. Champlin Park is in a not perfect rotation right now. They got Clark on the bench and Wayzata serving.
Goes outside to Schmidt, off the blockers. Johnson plays it back to the middle. Helmick with the swing, and we are tied at 23.
Like I said, it's unorthodox. Not a lot of people employ that strategy, but Wayzata was able to get a beautifully hittable ball from Emlong to Helmick, and 23-23. If this is the rotation for Champlin Park, Scott couldn't have handpicked one better with Clark on the bench. And I tell you what, they make one more dig, one more counterattack. They might be able to steal game 2 here.
A great rally here from Wayzata after that. They take their second time out, down 13-6. And to get all the way back now to 23-all.
Look at the contrast in the huddles there. The calm for Champlin Park. They've been in the situation a ton. And look at the energy coming off the Wayzata bench right now. Scott is really trying to interject, and you can see the kids nodding, buying into what the coach has to say. Scott's being really demonstrative with his hands. He's trying to get these kids to believe in their talent right now and go out and just be able to execute once or twice. Okay, Lauren Clark on the bench, like we mentioned for Champlin Park. This is a really, really good opportunity. Let's see if Wayzata can take advantage of it. If it was Minnetonka playing Champlin Park in this situation, we would serve the ball on the outside hitter, Emma Schmidt, and try to get her to run 2 actions instead of 1. Be responsible for the first contact and then transition to hit and go out and hit.
We'll see where Izzy Anderson goes with this ball. Handled by Weimer Skirch. Billy, and over by Weimer Skirch again. Johnson to the middle, handled by Stelpus, but out. And it's set point for Wayzata.
Surprised that Panzer didn't do a better job. She is a knockout serve receive player, and she just had a hiccup, which forced the Champlin Park free ball. You give a free ball to the Trojans, and you're asking for trouble.
They go to at Schmidt that time. Schmidt tipping this one down. We're tied at 24.
Well, that's probably the right play there, and they did get a non-aggressive attack out of Schmidt. Unfortunately, they weren't able to pick up the tip. See if Wayzata can side out immediately. I look for Helmick to get the ball on the right side here.
Thompson's back in. She serves for Champlin Park. Johnson up, attack, back row handled by Ashburn. Weimer Skirch up to the middle, pushed deep by Schmidt. Johnson, left side then long, nice dig by Thompson. Ashburn and Stelpus, great dig by Jesuits to keep that ball alive. Ashburn back to Schmidt. And it's 25-24 Rebels.
What a shame. Wayzata had 2 chances to handle a down ball or a free ball, and they were unable to get the ball near enough to the setter to reverse it to Helmick. Their best hitter on the court never even had an opportunity to play the ball because we couldn't get the ball forward in front of the 10-foot line for the setter to handle. Look for Helmick here again if Wayzata's in system.
Back set pushed across. Ashburn, go back to Schmidt again. Can't quite close it out yet. Back set, and Helmick ties it up.
Now this is going to be interesting. Helmick's going to rotate to serve, which means that Wayzata's going to have to be reasonably in system. They're going to run slide-go combination, which means that Kate Long, number 8 for the Trojans, is going to run a go here. This is a great shot by Helmick, by the way. Kate Long is going to run a go on the near pin, and they're going to run slide behind and try to create a tough decision for Champlin Park.
Panzer back in for Champlin Park. Ashburn back to Schmidt. She's got her second kill in the last 3 total points, and the Rebels again at set point.
What a swing by Schmidt. Just a little bit of a trap set, but she was still able to bounce that ball off the tape and score down the line.
26-25 Rebels. Johnson back to Long and out. And Champlin Park wins 27-25.
Well, we got what we asked for. We got a competitive game there, and I think that got both sides of the crowd energized. Let's see if Wayzata can continue to build on the strength of that game. Here's a serve here. Wayzata is going to try to run slide go. Kate Long has a little bit of an awkward approach. Timing was just off, and unfortunately, she's not able to find the court.
Rebels up 2 sets to none, 1 set away from the state tournament. We'll take time out, come back. More section volleyball championship night here at Osseo High School on CCX.
I got some Oxy after I hurt my neck. First, I took them to feel better. Then, I just kept taking them. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Well, an exciting second set. Champlin Park wins at 27-25. And Carl Katzenberger, they go up 2-0. Not a great rotation at the end of that set, as we were talking about between sets here, but the Rebels still find a way to get it done.
I need to give a ton of credit to both Izzy Ashburn and Emma Schmidt. Izzy was able to be athletic enough to get Emma the ball, and Emma took 3 huge swings for Champlin Park down the stretch there with Clark on the bench, and she converted on all 3. Fantastic. Really, really well done by those 2 athletes.
Set to go here in set 3. Wayzata now in an 0-2 hole. Trying to fight back and play as well as they did in that second set. Helmich gets them off to a great start.
Well, Helmich's fired up right now. She is certainly not afraid of the Champlin Park block, and she has really, really become effective down the stretch here. Here comes Long back in for the Trojans. Let's see if Champlin Park runs the same action. They'll keep the middle near this pin, have her run a 31, and then reverse the ball to Clark on the right side.
Jesuit serves Long, tying it up.
That's the shame about serving errors and one-touch errors like that is you don't give Champlin a chance to make a mistake or an error.
And that goes as an ace for Champlin Park and for Clark.
Yeah, there's just too much of that in game 1, and that was the difference between 1 and 2 for Wayzata. And a little shaky start here with the ball handling in game 3.
Johnson will set up Long off of Clark. They're tied at 2.
For the life of me, I don't know how she found a crease there. And I know that the cross court is kind of her bread and butter. It looked like Champlin Park had the block set pretty well. Long was able to get the ball through for a kill.
Ashburn to Hilly. Nice dig by Anderson. Johnson back. Big left-handed swing again from Helmich.
Sign me up for the Elizabeth Helmich fan club right now. She knows that she needs to carry the team offensively. And it's one thing to carry the team offensively. It's another thing to carry the team offensively when everybody in the whole gym knows you're getting the ball.
Ashburn to Praske. Helmich again over. Handled by Praske. Ashburn to Schmidt. Johnson to the middle. Jesuits and dug up by Ashburn. Weimerskirch setting up Schmidt, but hits Long.
That's what I mean by one-touch errors. Let's say Wayzata doesn't get the ball over the net. It doesn't allow Champlin Park to make the hitting error with the ball on their side of the net. Wayzata doing a good job of getting calm and engaging in rallies to start.
Ashburn to Hilly, and that's out.
That quick set is tough to navigate sometimes. It's a timing-based play, and if something is even 7% wrong, it leads to that shot that goes flying out of bounds.
Biggest lead of the match tonight at 5-2 here for Wayzata.
Who is it again? It's Emma Schmidt. I just really like how her game has progressed over the years. I remember seeing her as a 7th and 8th grader playing at Crossfire Volleyball Club and just thinking, wow, this kid is just basically oozing potential. It's so cool to see her put it all together as a senior.
Got her team a point, a side out. 5-3 as Thompson gives it back. Panzer in, Thompson out.
So here comes the rotation for Wayzata. When Helmick goes back to play defense, they have to rely a lot on being in systems so they can split the block running behind end of the pin.
Ashburn outside. Stalpus got it across and then long and out.
So Champlin Park has been targeting the left side of the court in serve. So I see Helmick or the libero getting this first one. See if they can keep it in systems. They can run the combination slide go here.
Stalpus off the net. Good dig up on that ball by Jesuits. Here's long and took a little too much off that ball, and it's into the net.
Look at that push radius for Jesuit. She starts in the middle of back, and then she sees the knockdown shot, and she pushes like literally 8 feet forward in the blink of an eye. Super athletic.
Johnson back. Attack from Emlog. Goes to Stalpus. Anderson, Johnson, bumped over by Jesuits. Weimerskirt's got to make a big run on that. Hilly gets blocked. Tip over by Stalpus. Emlog, another dig for Weimerskirt. Stalpus gets blocked, and the dig by Ashburn. Stalpus, and Wayzata point. Wow, what a great plays on both sides of the net, Carl.
Yeah, good rally. Couple really subtle things there. Izzy Ashburn made a great kneeling set to get the ball to the middle, super high level play, and then she covered the block immediately on the same player. Like, what an individual effort right there. That was fantastic to see.
Ashburn back to Hilly. Point Champlin Park. Hilly, junior, with her first kill from this set, and it's a 1-point game.
That slide is a tough action to defend properly. It requires the middle for the defending team to really be locked into what the opposing middle is doing.
We dig by Anderson on the serve, and then they get it to Jesuit, or Helmick rather, to pound the ball down.
It's the same thing. It's that slide-go combo, which is really, really popular these days, is you force the middle blocker to make a decision, and you end up in single block situations like this. Champlin Park had it on the point before. Wayzata just got it there. Just really, really hard action to defend.
It was Emlog with the kill, and now she'll serve. Their team up by 2. Ashburn to Clark. Emlog handles it back row. Johnson for Helmick. Great dig by Weimerskirt. Here's Stalpus cutting it and down for a point.
And again, Stalpus is a contrast to the other outside for Champlin Park. We have just a pure athlete, rocket arm, and then we have a kid who understands how to score without being the heaviest hitter on the team.
Jesuits, back row, Schmidt took it. Here's Clark. Off of Helmick, and she's able to put it across. Nice job there. Here's Clark attacking. Rubald gets a hand on it, but that's it. It's a point for the Rebels.
That length by Jesuits was able to basically dig a ball that I thought was undiggable. It's too bad that Rubald couldn't push for that ball, shuffle for the ball as opposed to push for the ball.
Johnson back for Emke, gets the kill.
And we go back to a really favorite action for the Trojans there, that slide go. It's really hard to defend that well. It's proving problematic for both teams right now.
Trojans back up by 1. Ashburn for Clark. And we're tied at 9.
Unfortunately for Rubald, that just took a funny bounce off the top of the block. She was aligned perfectly, and it's hard. When that ball hits the block like that, it can deflect in any vector possible.
Ball from the middle, good attack and a kill for Emke.
So the Trojans are using their pin hitters to draw attention, and they're setting up, some offense here now for the middle, and it's kind of actually counterintuitive to what we talked about earlier. But if Champlin Park is going to defend the pin staunchly, then the opportunities are going to be in the middle for Wayzata.
Off of Stalpus, it's an ace for Wayzata.
Jesuit showed that short serve in game 1 and just got called again by the Trojan bench. Maybe she goes to it again.
Back up by 2 again. Ashburn to Schmidt. Blocked, and a great play by Helmick.
Helmick is basically taking a huge part of the load for the Trojans right now. She is basically telling her teammates by her actions, guys, I'm going to do the heavy lifting right now, okay? So cool to see as a coach, to see a player willing to step up like that.
Ashburn for Praski, who misses. And a run here for Wayzata. They're up by 4, 13-9, timeout Champlin Park.
Look at the energy on the Wayzata bench. Look at that body language, how it differed from game 1 to right now. Those kids have a belief right now that if they play their best, that they can compete with Champlin Park. I don't know if that belief was there in set 1. There's another kid that I coached. This is Lauren Robley dancing on the Wayzata fan side there. Lauren's a great kid. Great air guitarist too, apparently. I didn't know that about her.
Well, Wayzata.
Yeah, go ahead.
Coming back with some nice points here. So we'll take a look at this last play again.
So here comes the blocking assignment. Kate Long got lucky because she didn't commit to the middle. It's so hard with Lauren Clark on the right side. But against a single block, Champlin Park got exactly what they wanted. Unfortunately, the cut shot just went a ball wide.
Well, for Champlin Park, what do they need to do to counter to some of the things that Wayzata started to do very well here in the second and third sets?
Champlin Park really just needs to get a steady diet of Long right now. Get her the ball, albeit now she's going to go off the court in the next rotation. But let's get our best volleyball players the ball in these types of situations.
Schmidt able to play it over for a point.
See if Schmidt can carry the Rebels through another rotation here. Clark is going to go back to serve, and then she's going to hit the bench for a defensive replacement after this. That means right now it's going to be counted on Schmidt for a lot of offense for the Rebels.
Johnson to the front, a little awkward play at the net by Wayzata, and they can't get back into the system. At the point for Champlin Park.
That's a great hustle play by the libero for Wayzata. Unfortunately, her entire torso was underneath the net, and that's a pretty easy violation for Candy Colbo to spot as the down ref tonight.
So 13-11. Clark back to serving again. And Anderson. Johnson from Long, pushes it over. Ashburn got a hold of that. Here's Praski's attack, dug up by Jesuit. Back it goes. Helmick, dug up by Stalpus. Ashburn to Schmidt. Point Champlin Park. Tipped by Wayzata at the net.
That's one it's almost impossible to do anything about that. Schmidt hits that ball at the top of her jump, and then she's intentionally going for the soft part of the block, the extended fingertips there, and it just, your hand is not physically built to stop a ball at 40 miles an hour doing that.
Long trying to get it back into play and can't. So a little problem on the pass. And then double contact called, and it's a point in Champlin Park. Now out of that timeout, a little 4-0 run, and we're tied at 13.
One possession errors for Wayzata are kind of taking their toll right now.
Long pounds this one down. Wayzata back up.
She is so deceptive. She takes that approach from out to in, and her whole body line is going cross court, and she still consistently finds seams and areas of court that are undefended.
Izzy Anderson serves. Ashburn to Schmidt. Block. Schmidt to the middle. Dold set a dump by Ashburn.
Well, that's one of those things as a coach is you love when it works and you can't stand it when it doesn't. Ashburn, that's the first time she's tried to go offensive this match, and she picked a good time. Wayzata was a little bit off guard.
Thompson in to serve. Pushed by Helmick, but Weimer-Skirch dug it. And Schmidt gets the point.
Can't say enough about Emma Schmidt carrying the offensive load right now for Champlin Park. And, kudos to Clark, kudos to Hilly. Lots of other great hitters and performances tonight. I would say that the offensive MVP tonight for Champlin Park is in the number 10 jersey.
too much that time from Helmick. Misses long, and the Rebels up by 2. Timeout, Wayzata.
Yeah, Wayzata's got to get calm again, and we got to limit the one possession rallies where they get Champlin Park in some kind of compromising position due to a difficult big attempt or a difficult block attempt. And, quite frankly, they have to control the ball well enough to get it to Helmick. Here's just kind of an awkward location. The setter's off the net, the ball's high enough the net. It's really hard for Helmick to extend and not only deal with the block, but find an open area of the court.
Champlin Park now on a 7-1 run since the last time out.
Well, and it probably goes back to boys and the fact that they've been here before. It's just really hard to substitute for that. Champlin has not looked really shaky for an extended period of time. They've had a couple runs against them, but I think they're sticking to the game plan right now. They've gone after the libero and serve receive for Wayzata almost exclusively. They've gone for her, and they're basically forcing Wayzata to beat them off of the offense they can generate, and they're looking at some predictability issues. Like here, Helmick figures to get the ball almost 90% of the time if they're in system.
Thompson out of the timeout, though, gives a point back, and it's 16-15.
Good timeout by the coach, Scott Jackson there. Break some momentum, maybe get the server ice a little bit, and worked out exactly how he had planned.
Helmick serving, Panzer back in for Champlin Park, and right back to Champlin Park.
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult for Wayzata to get in their own way at this point. They really got to value the ball and take care of that first contact.
Schmidt serving. Jesuits. Johnson. Helmick hits long.
That is the very first time that Helmick has looked tentative tonight. Every other ball, she's really tried to be as athletic as possible and give the ball a ride. It's the very first swing to me that she's looked tentative on.
Schmidt serves at Jesuits. Johnson will dump it over. Nice dig by Panzer. And over by Schmidt. Johnson back, and a kill for Lily Emlong.
Yeah, Emlong's bread and butter is just running a slide like that at that tempo. Wayzata's really going to have to play their strengths right now, and this is one of them, is Emlong just taking that slide approach off of 1 foot and bombing balls.
Julia Robles serves. Ashburn. Stalpus tips it across.
Yeah, you can't say enough about Stalpus, especially in that rotation. When Clark is on the bench and then they've rotated Schmidt to the back row, Stalpus has been the answer. She's gotten him out of that rotation numerous times.
And now Clark back in as Weimerskirt serves. Back they go, and this time Emlong hits wide.
This is a new kind of volleyball tactic. It's a modern kind of thing. Although Clark plays outside while Champlin Park is serving, they're going to go put Clark in front of Jesuits, their most athletic hitter on the outside, as opposed to traditionally blocking and hitting out of the same area of the net on offense and defense.
Good crowd on hand tonight at Osseo. We've seen the Wayzata's fans are opposite side of where our camera is, and you can see the Champlin Park fans kind of in front of our cameras behind us here, but nice to see the turnout on both sides. Obviously, you're going to get the parents and the relatives, but a good student turnout tonight as well for tonight.
Yeah, and speaking from a high school head coach, there is nothing like, and trust me, I love coaching club volleyball. It's been a big part of my coaching career, and I mentioned I coached some of these kids from other schools and developed relationships. That wouldn't have happened without club volleyball. So, there's a ton of positive out of that. For me, the most fun and the most, just sense of community and the total package to me is high school volleyball. You get the civic pride, and you get the kids that you've grown up in the same neighborhood as, wearing the same jersey and lining up against a different town. That is where the memories and the really special moments come out of volleyball for me.
Champlin Park 5 points away from state. Tough serve by Ashburn, but handled nicely by Wayzata. They go to Stalpus. Good dig by Anderson. Johnson to Emlong. Point Champlin Park.
talking about this blocking scheme, and this is a really modern idea, but they're kind of running an international 4-2, which means that the setter for Champlin Park will actually stay in the middle of the net and block. Clark, who's traditionally an outside, will go over to the far side of the net and stay in front of Jesuits.
Ace serve for Weimer Skirch, and it's 22-16.
What a tough serve. Just seam. That's the husband and wife play, that no communication. And it's just a kind of been the cross that Wayzata's had to bear is a lot of single possession errors, and it just can't do that against a team as strong as Champlin Park.
Johnson across. Jesuits blocked by Clark.
There, that blocking strategy paid off. You got Clark on the pin, your best athlete, your best blocker, and they're just playing percentages. Wayzata's gonna almost certainly go to Jesuits, their best offensive player.
Weimer Skirch serving. Johnson back to Emlog. Well played by Ashburn. There's a little miscommunication. Who's going to play it? Panzer Schmidt, neither did. And Wayzata gets a much-needed point inside out, but they're still in the 6-point hole late in set 3. Emlog serving. Ashburn back. Stalpus. And it's match point.
What a night that young lady has had. I mean, I can't remember hitting her, and she has at least 4 or 5 kills on about 7 swings. Super, super efficient.
Stalpus serving for a spot in the state tournament. Johnson to Emke, blocked. Left side, Jesuits. And that's it for the 5th year in a row. The Champlin Park Rebels are the Section 5 3A volleyball champions.
Really, really well played match by the Rebels. They did exactly what they needed to do, and that's just stay inside their comfort zone. Wayzata was game. They were up for the challenge, especially in spurts. But tonight, I just think the team that played better, they won. And that's kind of how it goes in playoff volleyball. Is on any given night, the team who plays best is going to go. And I think Champlin Park was deserving tonight. Watch the replay here, and you'll see the celebration. This is part of the thing I was talking about. It's this whole civic pride and the connection. Look how genuinely excited for one another these kids are. Look how invested they are. It's just really cool. As a coach, it's a big part of why we play sports right there.
We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back with our post game. You're watching coverage of the Section 5 3A volleyball tournament. It's the Rebels again on to state, and more from Osseo after this.
Local Vote 2018 focuses on the candidates that make key decisions close to home. As you decide how to vote for people who will represent you on your city council, on your school board, and in the state legislature, hear from the candidates themselves first. Whether it's a candidate statement on CCX News, local political forum, or election night coverage, you can find it all on CCX Media and ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back to Osseo High School. It's the Champlin Park Rebels on to the state tournament. Izzy Ashburn, one of the seniors, joins us now. First of all, congratulations. You've been here before. I'm sure it never gets old, right?
Never. Thank you.
Tell me about tonight's match. You win that first set fairly easily, but they really battled there in sets 2 and 3.
We knew they were going to be a tough team to beat. We've seen them a lot. We haven't played them yet this year, though. We know they have a lot of talent. We were ready for a fight.
What did you guys do well in that third set? When you were down 13-9, coach calls a timeout. What got you back in the lead and got you the win?
We went back to our basics and focused on our serve and pass game and just focused on our side rather than focusing on the other side.
So much pressure on you guys all year. Maybe some of it's self-imposed. You know you're supposed to win this section. What is it like now that you finally achieved the section championship?
Feels really good. I mean, people have been trying to talk about it all season. We've kind of blown it off, but it's reality now, and it feels really great.
All right, go join the celebration and the trophy line. Thank you. We'll take a quick break. Now we'll stay up now and we'll cover the rest of this trophy presentation. The medals being awarded to both Wayzata, a great runner-up here, and then Champlin Park in a moment.
Number 17, Lee DeVere. Number 22, Olivia Johnson. Number 24, Lily Ekdahl. Number 25, Caitlin Empey. Number 26, Isabel Anderson. Coach Scott Jackson. Assistant coaches as well. Sorry about that. Assistant Foster, Wendy Robinson, Rachel Slater. And head coach Scott Jackson. Congratulations, Wyatt, on a great season. And now, for the captains of Champion Park, please come forward to receive this section. Number 1, Floyd Park. Number 2, Sandy Williams. Number 4, Nicole Thompson. Number 5, Haley Penzer. Number 6, Caitlin McCumberchurch. Number 7, Jensen Leaders. Number 8, Holly Lasso. Number 9, Lindsay Roth. Number 10, Emma Schultz. Number 11, Lizzie Ashburn. Number 12, Hannah Patsky. Assistant coach, Allison Axis. Thomas. And head coach, John Youngwood. Good luck to
All right, Carl Katzenberg, as you heard Izzy Ashburn say, never gets old. Each team's a little bit different. You want to get to state, and this team certainly had the expectation they were going to get there again, and now mission accomplished.
I would boil it down this way to its simplest essence is, although Champlin Park has used to been going to state, and they've had that happen very recently, they're on the other spectrum of things. The Minnetonka Skippers are going to play this Saturday for the right to go to state for the first time in 42 years. So, I would not take any one of these state tournament berths by Champlin Park for granted, and they've earned every single one of them.
Wayzata a great effort tonight after that shaky first set, comeback, great second set, and really for most of that third set, pretty solid too, until it got away from them in the end. And a very good season for Wayzata. They finished 25-6.
Let me first of all tell you how impressed I am with Scott Jackson and staff at Wayzata to go 0-8 in the Lake Conference, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think they had 6 wins in 2017.
Last year, yeah.
6 wins.
Yep.
And then now to go 24-5, and they had a chance to win the Lake Conference championship this year. They played at Minnetonka, and the winner took all, essentially. They had a chance to win. They had a chance from going 0-8, dead last, with the exact same set of kids. They played every single one of those kids last year, and to have that kind of reversal, what a season, not only by the coaching staff, but then those kids buying in and being great teammates to one another. And there is no way they should not be proud of what they put on the court this year.
Champlin Park on to state. How do you like their chances next week?
Like I said at the beginning of the season, I think there were 3 teams on one tier, and that was Champlin Park, Eagan, and Lakeville North, and everyone else is trying to get there at the end of the season. And I think Champlin Park has held up their end of the bargain. They are one of the elite teams from start to finish this year. They spent the most amount of time as the number 1 in the coaches poll. They finished the season at number 3, but when you get to the state tournament, throw all that out. It does not matter. It's who plays the best, who is the best team on any given night there. So hats off to the Rebels. Very deserving. Another great season. Again, I want to just say how proud I am of another good friend, Johnny Unker. He deserves a lot of the success he's had with these kids, and I'm just really, really happy for him right now.
Carl, good luck next Saturday for Minnetonka. Get to stay. That would be great to see you in St. Paul next week.
Thank you. I got my fingers crossed, and we've had a fantastic season. And like I said, I hope that our kids have this same experience that the Champlin Park kids did on Saturday.
That will do it for our telecast tonight. We'll follow Champlin Park in the state tournament next week in St. Paul. Check our website, ccxmedia.org, for more details on that in the coming week. Again, they'll play in the quarterfinals next Thursday morning at XL Energy Center. They'll seed the teams this weekend, and then we'll find out who the Rebels will play in the first round at state. That does it for our coverage of the Section 5 3A Championship. Great crew tonight. Great announcer. Thanks Carl Katzenberg for joining us. I'm John Jacobson. Thank you so much for watching. It's the Rebels on to the state tournament. They win it in 3 over Wayzata.